Hello everybody, and welcome to a War of the Spark ranked draft here on the channel. Before I dive in, I do want to remind you that if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to get updates whenever I post new content. By doing so, you are helping the channel grow and thrive. If the video gets to 50 thumbs up, I will post another video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you have any questions at all or comments about the draft, be sure to leave us in the comment section down below. Let me know whether you prefer ranked drafts or best of 3 drafts, and I really do value your feedback on that. And finally, if you do enjoy the channel and the content that I am making, be sure to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, and consider supporting the channel even further and get access to exclusive rewards. But without further ado, let's get into the draft. Ooh, Ilharg. I have yet to play with Ilharg. He is a sweet rare, and so much text that he doesn't even fit on the card. That's actually hilarious. Ilharg is quite a powerful rare. 5 mana, 6/6 trample is already good, and the fact that it shuffles back into your deck might not seem like a big deal, but in limited, the fact that you get to constantly cast 5 mana 6/6, 6/6 is usually the biggest creature on the board, is actually a pretty big deal. There's some ramp in this format, like New Horizons, that can allow you to cast this on turn 4, so Ilharg is definitely the pick out of any pack you open him. The uncommons are nothing spectacular. The one that I feel like people like the most out of this pack is Ashiok. Ashiok's a card I'm not actually that high on because mill is generally not relevant until you actually mill out their last card. And Ashiok by himself can maybe mill a bunch of cards, but only if you can protect him, and that's kind of hard to do. So I'm not even close to taking Ashiok there. Though, now that I look at the rest of the pack, I think I would actually take Dreadmalkin over Ashiok just because in the red-black sacrifice aggressive deck, Dreadmalkin's quite good. Even in other decks, Dreadmalkin can be quite potent. But yeah, these commons are quite lackluster. The best commons are Pyrohelix and Spark Reaper and Arlen's Wolf, probably. In the right deck, Contentious Plan is good, but I don't like to start with it super early, and everything else is really placement level. So I think I go Ilharg here, and then I probably go with, like, geez, this pack is so bad after the Ilharg. I'd probably take Pyrohelix or Reaper, maybe the Arlen's Wolf, or Dreadmalkin. I'd probably take Dreadmalkin over all those. But yeah, this pack is really weak. But we did get a great card. Pack 1, pick 1, and ooh, some spice. Pack 2. There's a lot of powerful cards to consider. First of all, I want to mention Dreadhorde Butcher. It's not super great unless you are already black-red and you have it exactly on turn 2. Later on in the game, you can kind of think about this as a Footlight Fiend, the card from Ravnica Allegiance, which was not that excellent. So Dreadhorde Butcher is definitely not the pick out of this pack. I do want to mention that as always, though, because I think people see that it's a rare, see that it has a lot of relevant abilities, and might overvalue it. Teo's a card I'm not a huge fan of. Overall, the fact that Teo doesn't really make creatures that have power means he's mostly just used to stall. So if you have other planeswalkers going on, he can be okay, but I don't like to take him early, and I don't prioritize him at all. Leyline Prowler is also, if you want Teo, you can type the code into the store, shields up, capital S, capital U, and get the Teo, so that's just a little perk. Leyline Prowler is a very good uncommon, and actually is a card I'm leaning towards taking here. You can play a black-red deck and a black-green deck, and just black-green deck and just splash anything, including like Ilharg, though it does kind of push you into a multicolored deck a little early. It's still nice because you can stay flexible and then just splash things. Even though it is double color, you can oftentimes get enough fixing that it doesn't matter. Lawrun Enforcer is the best common out of this pack. I like it a lot more than Wanderer Strike just because it's cheap, but I do like to try and avoid white decks if I can. I'm not going to like not play white decks, but like if I have a kind of close pick, I'll take the non-white card. The other commons that are worth mentioning are Wanderer Strike and Guild Globe. I think taking a Guild Globe second is a mistake. There's just a lot of more powerful cards you can be taking. So I think I would definitely take Lawrun Enforcer and probably even Wanderer Strike over a Guild Globe here. But I think Leyline Prowler is enough better than both of those that it's worth taking, even though it does not go in the same colors as my Ilharg. And now we are a little bit rewarded for moving towards the black color combination. There are several strong black cards in this pack. There's a Spark Harvest, which is one of the best commons. There is a Toll of the Invasion. There's also a Lazotep Reaper, so 3 strong black commons. Spark Reaper is also a fine one. And then there's a Lawrun Enforcer, but definitely not going to take the Lawrun Enforcer over something as powerful as a Spark Harvest. Spark Harvest, just premium removal. Even though I do like Lazotep Reaver a good amount, and Toll of the Invasion is still underrated in my opinion, this card is quite good in the format, I think Spark Harvest is the way to go. And we could just move back towards a black-red deck, though now we have more options towards moving into a multicolored green-black deck. New Horizons is the exact type of card you want if you are planning on splashing Ilharg. Not that I'm already planning on splashing Ilharg, I could still just be a black-red deck that is playing Ilharg, but I think New Horizons is a very defensible pick in this pack. 10th District Legionnaire is also interesting. We have just passed up 2 Larun Enforcers, and 10th District Legionnaire is another white card. It could pair with the Ilharg if I end up in red-white. But that being said, I don't really like moving into a like aggressive color combination because a lot of the time you can't get the support you need for it later on in the draft. And I have a couple of good signals that black might be open as well. I think New Horizons is a defensible pick. I think Pollenbright Druid could be a defensible pick just as a fine 2-drop for a potential green-black deck or green-black base deck. I think I will just take the... this is tricky. I think it's kind of close. The 10th District Legionnaire is actually a consideration. I think New Horizons is the type of card that I don't love to take super early because it's like not my favorite. Pollenbright Druid's okay. And then Gateway Plaza is like not a card I'm even considering here. So I think it's between those 3. I'm not going to take the 10th District Legionnaire. I think it's between these 2. And since we could potentially splash Ilharg, I don't even think it's correct to splash Ilharg necessarily. Because Guild Globe doesn't really help with this. We'll just take the New Horizons. We want to be playing a multicolored black-green deck. And a little bit punished here. There is another good white card. We could have just taken the other good white card. So in this pack, if we had just taken the Larun Enforcer, we'd have 2 Larun Enforcers, because we would have taken the second one then over the Spark Harvest maybe. And then we have a really good red-white deck. The problem is you can't always rely on getting those cards picked up. We could take a Burning Prophet here and just move into a red-green deck. We could also just take a Band Together and stick with a little bit of green, or we could take the Trusted Pegasus and rely on a good pack 3 for the white cards we need. I think Band Together is a fine pickup though. It works really well with our Death Toucher. You know, Trusted Pegasus is kind of calling to me. I'm just going to take the Pegasus and see if I can move into white. There just seems to be a lot of white-red cards running around here. May seem like a bit of an aggro pickup, but Band Together is like fine, but nothing insane or anything. And Heartfire is fine. Probably the best card in this pack. Other than that, there's Honor the Godfarer, but not really the type of card I would want to be playing in a red-white deck anyway. So we'll just pick up a Heartfire here. And now there's a Guild Globe if we do want to splash something. Sure, we'll take it. There's no real downside to taking it. This rest of the pack is pretty bad. And Honor the God Pharaoh allows you to get rid of your extra cards. Yeah, there's a Pouncing Lynx for a more aggressive strategy. But we don't really have the pieces needed for that aggressive strategy right now. Not sure I want an Honor the God Pharaoh though, because I think we're either going to end up in a red-white aggressive deck or in a black-green deck that splashes a lot of things. So I think Pouncing Lynx is more likely to make the cut, because in the red aggressive deck you don't want Honor the God Pharaoh. And Dreadwalkin doesn't fit either of those decks, but Nissa's Triumph could sometimes be playable. Pretty late Dreadwalkin. I'll just take the Dreadwalkin. Probably the best card in the pack. And now a Primordial Worm, sure. Don't think I'm main decking that. I'll take the Defiant Strike. Works well with Pouncing Lynx. And now a Battlefield Promotion. Crowbar, yes. Whoa! Hello there! I'm glad we hedged into white because this card is fantastic. Easy pick out of any pack it's opened in. Nothing else even comes close, so I don't even think it's worth talking about the other cards. Challenger Troll's a good card, and Saheeli's good in the right deck. This is a pretty good common, but let's go. God Eternal Rival. So we're now playing red-white. We're going to play both of our God Eternals because that's awesome. The Bulwark Giant could actually be fine, or we could take a Mana Geode for helping us to ramp. So let's just see how many cards we have for this deck. We don't mind just playing Guild Globe, just cycle through our deck to find our good God for Eternals and stuff. I wouldn't mind a Bulwark Giant just as a way to gain a bunch of life till I get to the late game. Mana Geode's also an option just to ramp into our guys, but we want to just have a lot of creatures. Let's just take the Bulwark Giant. And Tybalt, excellent white card. I mean, red card. It's not a white card. It doesn't work with the God Eternals, but it does stall the game quite nicely. Enforcer Griffin's one that I like as well, but we're just going to take the Tybalt.
You should be
Works well
flattered I
well.
decided to torture you.
And yeah, we'll pick up an Iron Bully. It's not the worst card, not the best card, but you know, you got to work with what you got sometimes, and we're definitely playing red-white at this point. So now we're just trying to pick up some filler cards. And speaking of filler, This pack doesn't have a ton that we want. Dovin's okay. It can stall the game until we get our God Eternals online. And I think that's probably good enough to be worth taking. Pouncing Lynx is okay. You know, I think we'll probably just take the Pouncing Lynx. Try to keep the pressure on. If you have multiple Pouncing Lynxes, you can start to build around it. Now we'll just take a makeshift battalion. I really hate Goblin Assault Team, and Gideon's Triumph is like very like medium in my opinion. Though maybe we just need the removal. Yeah, we don't have any removal. Let's just take the Gideon's Triumph. It's pretty easy to play around, but at the same time, you just need that effect sometimes. And now we can pick up a Wanderer Strike over a Divine Arrow. I do think Wanderer Strike is better. It's good to get the removal spells, and our deck's really coming together. Enforcer Griffin over Defiant Strike, just got to get those creatures. Even with 2 Pouncing Lynx, we already have 1 Defiant Strike, and I think more than that is pushing it. Nihiri Stoneblade is okay with like first strikers, but I don't think we need that effect. We just want creatures. And now we'll take a Martyr for the Cause, just a fine 2-drop. Guess we'll take Catharsis, and we'll just take the uncommon, builds our collection better. This is not a Catharsis deck. When I say builds the collection, I mean it fills the vault quicker when you take uncommons. So we'll just keep taking uncommons. And now between Crowbot and Assailant, we have 1-drop. We have 3 2-drops already. A couple other cards to cast on turn 2, so we'll just take the Crowbot. Be a nice defensive option while we set up for our God Eternals. Tolsimir, that card is fantastic. But we'll just be taking a Law Reinforcer here, hopefully wheeling the Bulwark Giant. And yeah, all creatures, especially because his creature removal is so good. We just want as many creatures as possible with these 2 guys. Oh man, Domri's also a house. Unfortunately, can't take it. We're just going to take a Wanderer Strike. We are not splashing in this deck, even though we have a Guild Globe and some green cards. We're just not. It's not worth it. We have 2 very powerful cards already. That's how we're going to win the game. They're both double colored. So we have 2 of these and a Wanderer Strike and an Enforcer Griffin already. But I think a second Wanderer Strike is better than the Shattered Pyre Helix regardless. So just going to get that removal. And now we would actually consider Teo. Teo's would actually be solid because we just need to stall the game until we get to our late game. But Divine Arrow also helps us stall, so we're just going to take the Divine Arrow. We don't need Trusted Pegasus as much, as we just need cheap interaction to kill our opponent's must-kill threats. And this pack is garbage. I guess we'll take Grim Initiate. We already have 2 Crowbods. And, yeah. Wow, late Arlen. I guess we'll take Manticore, though hopefully not play it. And another Divine Arrow, nice. Just getting that cheap removal is good. Iron Bully is an alright option. Just want to have cheap cards. Bond of Passion is not really what we're looking for. Let's just take the Iron Bully. We already have a pack. And War Screecher's a nice blocker. It's more of a defensive option. I think we want the defensive options because once we get our God Eternals going, we'll just win. So I think we'll just take the War Screecher here over another Pouncing Lynx. And we got the Bulwark Giant back, which is perfect. Initiate came back. Another War Screecher, more defensive 2-drops. We already have a lot of 5s, as I mentioned before. Okay, so now let's build this deck. Okay, so we are going to be cutting some of our cards for sure. We probably don't want the Crowbods. They're just not very good. We're going to cut the Grim Initiates. Let's cut the Pouncing Lynxes and an Ironclad Crowbot. How many creatures do we end up having now? Only 13 creatures. How many non-creatures do we have? So, of our non-creatures, this cycles. I don't think we want Battlefield Promotion in this deck. We'll just play a Crowbot over it. This cycles. This is just a good card in our deck because we have like a bunch of tiny creatures and we have Tibalt and stuff like that. Yeah, this seems good to me. I think 10-7's probably not fine because we do have a double red card. Though Guild Globe helps cast that. No, it doesn't. We don't have any double white cards, though we do want to have a lot of planes. Yeah, let's just run 10-7. 10-7 seems fine to me. This deck is epic. Pretty sick. Let's change the card back. Let's see, are there any changes we want to make? I think Defiant Strike is a fine option just because it cycles through our deck, and any card that cantrips is just going to be good in a deck that can just be looking for its powerful God Eternal. We have some life gain, which is excellent here. Crowbot actually seems good for stalling purposes, as do many of our early plays. Yeah, I like this deck quite a bit, and I think it's going to work out well. reason I'm going 10-7 is because we need like 1 mountain and 2 once we draw Ilharg. But other than that, we generally don't need all that many mountains, and we do want to have double white consistently cast 2 white cards on turn 4. I think Ilharg getting a Bulwark Giant in play is going to be awesome. We go first. We'll keep this on the way. It's a bit slow. I've been keeping very sketchy hands recently, and I need to mulligan more aggressively. I know that part. So maybe this hand is a mulligan, but it seems fine to me. Even though it can't cast a single spell, Crowbot can kind of hold the ground. So maybe this one's bad keep. I think this was actually a mistake to keep, probably, in retrospect. I've just been keeping way too many aggressive hands too aggressively recently. This just has a lot of spells. Has 3 lands. I don't know. It doesn't have either of my God Eternals in it, I guess. That's also a knock against it. Ah, she got me.
I am your greatest.
Well, that's a way to get rid of a God Eternal.
You.
No! Oh.
My
About to draw the
dreams
Aketra.
dissipate
That is sadness.
like smoke.
Hello, sadness, my old friend. Well, there goes Aketra. Main deck's Ashiaki, best of 1. Sadness.
I leave you.
Milled 4 spells, but he didn't hit the Ilharg.
I'll return.
I hope we draw the
my
Ilharg just so we know we're safe.
slumber.
Oh, don't do me like this. Don't have Spark Harvest. Oh, gosh. That's brutal. Someone has 3 cards in hand. They can mill another 12 from me. We're still safe. As long as we have Ilharg, we are still safe. It's not going to be about life total, I can tell you that much. Opponent's missing land drops. Wow, this hand was like really set against the future draw. Ilharg reigns supreme! He's still in here. Let's just kill this. We do want to make sure we don't die. Mill.
This is difficult to digest.
Probably could have waited on doing that, but I just wanted to have access to all my mana. Put the counter on himself. This opponent is still mana screwed. We'll hold this land in case they have Dave Reel. They're still mana screwed. Come on, Ilharg. That 1 point of damage might actually be relevant. Probably not, but you never know. Because they'd be at 11 now, and we would have... Yeah, because if we proliferate onto this, then we get 2 tokens. Oh no.
A door wading through the bones of a civilization I crushed.
Jeez, bad. Well, that was even worse. I cannot believe we just drew 2 lands. Ilharg me.
Knowledge is not without price.
Come on! That is ludicrous, right?
I am your inner demon.
I just drew 5 lands in a row.
It is unwise to defy demons.
Very bad. Get back Ashiok.
You will be excellent research.
That's game. Yeah, if I had drawn a spell off of this Nixilis.
The storied past holds our future.
There you are, Ilharg.
It is just a small
Dang, that was brutal. I needed one more creature to get across the finish line here. That is very bad. That was also a really bad keep, to be fair, but still. Or at least, like, not the best keep. It was so stupid, though. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that we drew we drew 4 lands in a row. 4. And they had this only card that can get... I guess they could have had 8 the Fallen, but still. Oh my gosh. This is a definite mulligan. This is a much better hand. Excellent 6, as they say. Land here. Wow, I'm still so sad about losing that last game. It just didn't work out for us. We were 1 spell short, pretty much. Let's get this guy going first. Actually attacking and stuff. We're gonna get this guy out, so now our Martyr dies because of the counter. Here comes our trusted Pegasus. Pegasus. I could definitely get mulligan. Didn't have any early plays. And didn't have a God Eternal, which is a factor. Okay. So we're going to be using we have to use Divine Arrow if we attack like that. We're just not going to attack. We're just going to Iron Bully and counter on itself. Could have put a count on something else, but I think Heartfire is probably going to sacrifice itself to kill Thunder Drake.
It's hard to be a genius surrounded by lesser minds.
What will Dovin pick?
Looking to elevate yourself? Perhaps a pair of stilts?
Let's attack with those two. And we will then blow him out upon blocks. Kill that guy. Sacrifice a martyr.
not
pretty much my ideal
entirely
play pattern there.
incompetent.
That's why we wanted to get the Iron Bully number 2 into play. If you're wondering why it costs 3, it's because of Dovin's passive. We are fine with the Erratic Visionary. Let's just start beating down.
Clearly, the shortcomings here were mine.
Let's just play the War Screecher. It's just a good blocker for the Strix, and we don't need to get the Tybalt into play right now anyway. A land! Thank the heavens. So they can triple block 1. We're going to expose Tybalt to a potential counterspell. Because I feel like they're just going to use Erratic Visionary this turn. If they do counter, they can't use Erratic Visionary. Unfortunate. Oh dear, I could have won.
Never fresh blood.
Oh no, they didn't choose to use that.
Try
They
not to
killed the Trust
suffer
Pegasus,
the
I was
dreams of the
done so.
damned.
Because they could hit me for 4, I'd go to 2, then I'd draw a card, go to 1. But then, I got a lot of damage on a crackback.
Knowledge is not without price.
We just need to live long enough to get this Bulwark Giant into play. That's all I need.
Your victory.
Boom! And they concede. We didn't even need to play the Bulwark Giant. Yes! We're back on track, folks. We're in the zone now. We had to lose that first round to kind of steady myself, to not get overconfident, to not get too cocky. But now I'm in the zone. I'm feeling it. And I'm feeling good. We lost first too because it didn't hurt our rank at all. Because we were at the bottom of gold tier 4 or whatever. Let's see where are our opponents. We have yet to cast a God Eternal. Oh, baby. We have the combo. This is actually a very good hand to keep. Not only does it have one of our best cards, but it also has Tybalt, Heartfire, so this is definitely a keep. I feel like I've just been keeping without even thinking about it recently, but this is a definite keep, especially on the play, because Tybalt's more likely to be unopposed, or at least able to defend himself.
This
You know how
the more, the messier.
Ooh.
My assistants are painfully
See
slow.
what we're going to draw here. Wanderer's Strike could take out that. Heart firing it is also tempting. We're just going to heart fire it. We don't need to get too greedy. We're not going to be casting this Wanderer's Strike for a while. Killing a Vivian's Grizzly is a fine card to kill. Also Ilhard. Putting in Iron Bully to just get counters everywhere is kind of sick. I should have attacked first. But, you know, Ilharg is awesome. All praise the Razeborn! So we can just make him sacrifice his blocker, and then there's two options. We can either play the Iron Bully, or we can. I like just Wanderer's Strike. We don't get a proliferate, but we get a sweet attack, and we get an extra trigger out of this Iron Bully. Let's pump up the Razeborn. Boom! And our opponent concedes! Yes! We are on the victory trail. All it takes to win is to have 2 God Eternals in your deck. And after that, you just can't lose. Actually, we did lose, but that was a personal flaw. And also, we got milled out. Losing to mill feels so bad in Limited. It's like the worst feeling. I can't describe why it feels so bad. It just does. It feels horrible, man. Feels badman. As the saying goes, feels badman. Okay, this is a mulligan. Ah, gosh, on the draw. Two-lander on the draw with a Divine Arrow. And 2 Crovods and our Ilharg. Alright, we'll look at it. This is a much better keep, even though it's also a 2-lander. It actually has a 2-drop to play, even though I guess the thing was a 2-drop. This has 2-drop, 3-drop, another card to draw, something. And we got a Scry to find 3rd land. I don't know, maybe that other hand was keepable. I feel like I've been keeping hands that are too sketchy recently, and I've been trying to tell myself to mulligan more, but I never actually have been. There's also a nice little synergy. Actually, a 5-color opponent. We're going to be on the board before them, though, which is good. Always good to get out on the board early and impact the board. I'm a little bit worried that we have not drawn a second plane. This is why we're running a 10-7 split, by the way, because we have a lot of white cards, so we want to be able to cast 2 white cards in a turn. Whereas, like, if we drew, like, a Tibble. Crunch Ring in the house. I wonder if they'll double block Iron Bully. If so, we kind of wreck them. Let's just get into that extra damage while we can. And also just try to draw one of our 5-mana bomb rares that win us the game. Kind of like Defiant Strike in this deck. Just cycles through, helps us out a little.
Feel your hair prickle. This is your
I'm so glad my opponent played. Oh, they had to play the land. Well, that was a lucky draw. Very fortunate. Yeah, get out of here, buddy. You're gone. Can't even tap Oh, I don't want to trade my Menace guy for their 3/3. Glad I killed that Reclamation. Evolution Sage, I mean. You know what I want to draw? Is Oketra. Oketra's a good card.
Go, my children. Fight!
What? Oh no. We are not in good shape. No, no, no. We're just going to be churning out those 4/4 wolves. Actually, just growing the wolves they already have.
Brave now.
This is a nightmare. Just give me removal, just a little bit's enough, or Oketra would be fine. You know, land is also good. Lands can tap challenger trolls. Oh gosh, I'm terrified of a land. But then spells are also probably bad for me. Oh no. Oh no. 5 cards to proliferate onto. It can't even be double blocked because of the challenger troll. Nightmare strikes. Not good. Those were not the draws we needed. Yikes. Play it again, play it again, play it. They don't have a land, or they would have played a pre-combat. Good thing Mo's not a wolf, he's a hound. Well, War Screecher is good when you have a lot of lands, so my deck is trying to help. And also it can start pumping up my guys. But as soon as my opponent draws a land, this game's like over. Just scoop that one up. Not ideal, I would say. Okay, we're 2-2 with our double God Eternal deck. If we have a negative record with this deck, it's a real shame. Real shame. This is the real life we live, the real world we live in, though. Such things happen. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. This is a great hand. The All Plains Ilhard hand. But, ooh, opponent's mulling to 5? I feel very optimistic about our chances in this game. Not gonna lie. Crowbot. Crowbot's probably just bad, but I like it as a defensive tool to keep us alive. just needed those planes to cast our Crovod. Die, Crunch Wranglers. We hardly knew ye. Can you... Oh, never mind. Giant Growth wouldn't have saved it. We're happy to trade 1 for 1 when our opponent is pretty likely to be mana screwed, and also just mold the 5, so trading 1 for 1 will just end up ahead 2 cards, essentially. Oh, the Pocket Tracker. So good. If he attacks, I'll just attack back, play my Crovod. Oh, so much Crovod, so much win. All I'm going to say is Crovod is clearly the best. Because 2 5s beat 2 3s and 3 3s every time. Crovod is really good at stalling the game, and we can win stalled games pretty easily. Opponent is on 2 lands, but they are valiant fighters. They're putting up a noble effort. We'll play another Crovod to attack and have to use a Divine Arrow and then have no good play this turn. But now we can start attacking with 2 things. Just give me Ilharg. You know Ilharg, and so if we attack 2, 3, we'll go block on there. We definitely don't want to send both Crovods. They have just enough power to take down a single Crovod if they quadruple block. Then I can kill both those. If they double block like this, then we can kill the Polygrapher. We don't want to attack with Iron Bullet, because they have a good block on the Iron Bullet. Sure. Oh yes, Ilharg plus Bulwark Giant combo is so sick. Just try to pressure them a little. Just a smidge. I think they didn't block. They didn't block last time. If they do block, we recommend Ilharg Bulwark Giant game time. Oh, that animation is so cool. Love the animation. Gotta love it. Thundering Ceratop. You do me wrong. And they concede. Haha! Victory is sweet. We have now ensured at least an even record, and at least progressing by 1 game on our climb. Clearly the hard tier climbing come to expect from this elite channel. I don't really do climbs, I usually just do best of 3 games, but climbing is kind of fun. I like climbing. I have been Mythic before. You know Dasher and Dancer and Ilharg and Blitzen. Dang, I should have done it differently. I should have had Ilharg instead of Rudolph. Ah, man, we're on the draw. This is a huge draw. We have 2 2-drops. We have our best card. Boom! Never doubted it. Now we have 3 lands on our way. On the road again. Oh, 2 lands in a row. We're going to play our more defensive option. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Oh, it worked out perfectly. We scripted this game, and we've just drawn land every turn, but still. Oh, this is so perfect. Turn 5 Oketra. I'm feeling it against Red-White. Red-White cannot possibly beat turn 5 Oketra. Especially because we're going to curve Crovod into Oketra. Oh, Crovod! Crovod, you beast! I never doubted you for a second, Crovod. I always believed in you. They're doing so much work. They've got like brilliant curve out, but we're gonna just go Oketra and then play it at Oh, that animation is awesome! Yes! Oh my gosh, that animation is so sweet. Aw. Well, we're about to play. We will take action. I don't want to accidentally click decline there. I didn't see what they did with their scry. Let's block that one. Double E. You can kill my 2/2. We'll gain 5 life here. So good in this type of deck. It just buys you enough time to draw the Oketra again. We're so close. Imagine if we draw Ilharg right before the Oketra. The Wanderer? Oh no. Well, luckily we will be able to pressure the Wanderer with our... Oh no, he has
There are
turret
two
opener.
kinds of mages. Those who lose
Oh dear.
and you.
Well, all of our creatures nicely dodged the Wanderer. We can't use our Divine Arrow. Oh my gosh, even Oketra dodges the Wanderer. Let's go! Oh, I never doubted it for an instant. Not even for a second. Wanderer must die. We're fine with this trade. I was like, oh no, he'll just kill it. But nope, Oketra is a 3/5. Archery. It is a beloved craft. Should we do a divine arrow? Wow, are we literally going to lose this game? How brutal would that be? Just need to kill this Pegasus. Just need to kill this Wanderer. Screecher's actually a fine draw.
You're a feisty one.
Can block Pegasus and save us 2 points of damage. For anyone wondering why we're not using our Divine Arrow, it's because we can't. Oh, come off of it, mate. Oh, no. Oh, man. All they have to do is jump and they win. Even if they don't jump, they win, because this does not have reach. Actually, no. Now they could lose. We're still in it, mates! We're still in it! We go to exactly 1. No, because the Rising Populace gets a counter! Ah! Oh. The brutality. Exact damage. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, that's so sad. We had 2 God Eternals in our deck and only got to 3 wins. What are these matches? I feel like War of the Spark is an incredibly variance-heavy format because I never feel like I get past like 4 wins, but in every other format, I get to like 7 wins every time. I don't know. It feels weird. But if you made it all the way to the end of the video, type hashtag double god power in the comment section down below to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me a little bit of a boost, even though to like make me feel better about getting only 3 wins with this sweet deck. At least we went 50-50. And be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And if you would like to support me on Patreon, you can get access to exclusive rewards like being featured in the credits of the video. Thank you so much to all of my patrons that support me over on Patreon. The Eternal of Bolas level, of course, gets you put into the credit section, so thank you to all the Eternals of Bolas and everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Be sure to check it out for yourself. That is going to do it for this draft video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.